Hey everyone, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use the grid we have created already, and we are going to start sketching on it. So again, last tutorial we used the polygon tool and to help us create this grid from one point perspective drawing, and now we're going to create a hallway and put some doors in it. That's going to be our goal. So this is our vanishing point here on that horizon line we set up, and I undid it, but I'm going to actually put it back in. So I'm grabbing, if your rulers are not on, again, it's Control R to turn them on. And I'm going to put my ruler in there so I know where my horizon line is and gives me kind of a better visual. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my brush tool, and I'm working not on the layer where my polygon was. Again, that opacity is down on that layer, but I'm working on another layer, and I'm going to put the hallway on this layer. So actually let's rename it because it's a good idea to keep your work organized, and I'm going to call it hallway. So this is going to be my hallway lines, and the other layers I'm going to create other objects and drawings and whatnot. One really neat way to get a beautiful straight line, because it's very uncommon that we can do that by eye, is I'm tapping, I'm making a point on my vanishing points, and I'm actually going to hold shift and then tap it elsewhere, and it's going to create a line. My computer is lagging a little bit there, and I'm going to do the same thing again. It's going to pick up for wherever my last point was, so it's a nice way to create really quick and easy shapes. You can see it's slightly off. It's not exactly symmetrical on either side, using that polygon tool to create those grid lines. So I just did it kind of close. And what I've done is I have created the illusion of the floor on a hallway. Again, I'm just gonna do that again just to use one of the grid lines. It'll be slightly off. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing for the ceiling as well. And I am going to, if you're having trouble with exactly where to place them, you can use one of the ruler tools, and you can see my right and left side were not in fact equal. So what I can do is, if you would like it absolutely perfect, is you can use that, grab a ruler tool, and we can actually just change that there, and I can erase. Actually, I'm just going to erase both of them and redo that. You can undo, or you can use the eraser tool. My eraser tool is on the bottom of my pen, so it's nice and easy to access. So that's if you want it absolutely perfect. Again, we're missing a grid line between those, so there we go. So if you do, I kind of do work with a lot of grid lines, but if you find that there's way too many, you can go under view and you can go to clear guides, and that'll just delete all of the computer's super laggy, all of the guides that are on there. So see, all the rulers are in fact gone at this point. So again, we can do the same thing, and we can do this for the ceiling too, and we can create that illusion of the ceiling that's up there. Let's place it there, and now I'm going to tap in the vanishing point, and I'm going to continue it to the edge there, and I'm going to do the same thing again, tap around my vanishing point and continue over there. So it's creating the, again, that's not very good in the distance, the illusion of a hallway. The next thing we want to do, I'm just going to take away all these little bits that are here, is we're going to put in some doorways, and we can use the grid that's there if we want to kind of give us a hand in creating some of our objects. So you can move it down if you want to. And I'm going to start a doorway here. So I'm going to tap here. And the thing is, like, where does it go? Where does it go down? You can grab a vertical ruler on the side, and you can say this is exactly where it's going to meet, right there. There we go, we got our line. And then we're using these lines to help us figure out how far the doorway is going to go into the distance. So there we go, it should make another line there. Again, we can move that grid over if we want to figure out where it's going to meet to the floor, go back to our brush tool, should be able to tap there and it should fill in. There we go. And there is our door. And you can make a door again in the distance, farther down in the distance. Maybe it's another, maybe we'll start it right there. We go back to our brush tool, we tap and we tap where it's going to meet the floor. And then we tap where it's going to go into the distance. Again, I'm going to use that same grid and I'm going to move it down so I know how far, where exactly to place it on the ground. There we go. So you can see that the ruler tools, the guides are really helpful for creating those beautiful vertical lines that should be parallel to the canvas here. So you can keep doing this, and in fact, what your goal is going to be is to create some doorways along this hall. Once you finish that, the other thing I want you to do is create some objects, some shapes. So it could be a desk, or it could be, oops, it doesn't have to make sense for the actual scene here. If you just want to create like a little coffee table or something like that, let's try that. Let's try a small little coffee table. And so I'm going to be on my brush tool. Oops, sorry, I'm going to use my grid tool first. So let's place it maybe in the middle of the hallway. And so I am going to start here, and maybe my coffee table is going to be only that high. So I'm holding Shift again, and now I want to use my ruler from the top to tell me where I should place that. Maybe it's quite here we go, it should fill it in a second. There we go. And then again, I can use another grid tool and I can see how far down it's going to go. So you can use these to kind of build your front shape. And then how far the coffee table goes back is based on the grid lines that are here. And let's say that our coffee table goes back maybe that far into the distance. So I follow along this grid line, and then that is where I want it to end. And again, I have this one here. This one is going to go back here. So this is going to be, whoops, and see, there we go. We're going to Control Z to get rid of that. So this was my last point, and there we go. And then again, I'm going to continue to hold Shift, so it should fill in. Let's make the computer catches up there. There we go. And I'm going to give it a little more dimension here. Gotta grab another guide or two so I can actually, and I'm doing this by eye. I'm not measuring along the top here, so it's not going to be perfectly accurate. And should be creating that. There we go. And let's make it go to there. And I'm going to use another final grid tool just to finish off that shape. And we're almost done our coffee table. And then I'm gonna, so once you're kind of going in an order, it makes it so much easier to fill in. The only other thing to make this slightly more believable is to have it going into the distance a little bit. Let me grab a go. So again, you would see underneath the coffee table from this perspective a little bit. You'd see the thickness of the legs if they're quite thick, these coffee table legs. So there we go. Again, waiting for the computer to catch up. There we go. So now I'm going to remove my guide. Once it catches up, there we go. I'm going to go back to view and I'm going to click clear guides and it's going to delete those. So I have my, again, a little bit quickly done, but my coffee table, and I have some doors. So what I want you to do is put a couple different doors along the distance of this hall and put some objects around the space. Again, this is an infinite hall. The way to cap off, if this was a room, would be to use a grid to actually create a box in the distance. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to do that in the next tutorial.